How's the vibrate? Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Y'all know what it is. But just caught this little download. Now, just a disclaimer. This is you would have to be somebody who either tapped in with psychedelics before, or you watch one of my videos where I talked about cycles and loops, and my video about a world within a world, or a torus field within a torus field. You know, you would have to have some type of insight on that, or watch one of those videos, and again, or have been on your own psychedelic journey. That's not to promote you to do this in order to tap in with what I'm saying. It's just speaking on those who have been on those journeys could understand it, because one of the things with psychedelics is it's like the peeling back of our it's like peeling back the onions or the layers of our loops. you know we got a certain thing that we may repeat in a 3-hour cycle, and then that 3-hour cycle is a circle itself that's inside a 3-day cycle. And it spins around inside of that 3-day cycle. And that 3-day cycle is a circle within itself that's spinning around in a 3-week cycle. But picture that this goes on to, let's just say, and again, with time, you know what I'm saying, but where it gets to like a 300,000 year cycle, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, it's like you got, and what happens in a lesson loop? We're going through certain loops. When it's the same loop, it continues if, again, in essence, it's something for us to learn from. That's why I call them lesson loops. Again, when you're on Mario, you doing this, doing that, and then you try to jump onto the little, I always make the joke, the little moving platform that would move in the air, and you had to time your jump. If you didn't time your jump right, bam, you quote unquote lost a man and had to start from the beginning, or you start from a checkpoint. But again, you got to go back to that part, you know what I'm saying? If you don't get it right, you loop it again. And again, depending on how fast you go from this part to where you left off, again, like that, decides how fast the loop, continues in that sense of it. But then you get here and then you jump on the platform and it's a whole different thing. So you create a new cycle, or, in essence, a new cycle, new loop. But, a new cycle. Because all it is cycles anyway. It's not like a cycle is a bad or good thing. It's just understanding that it can become hellacious if we're in the same cycle that we don't really want to, be in that sense, where it's not enjoyable, majority of the moments. But like realizing right now, collectively, we're reaching like a lesson loop for the collective. So yeah, we having our own little unique, small little lesson loops upon our journey, through our growth and our every moments, and then throughout a quote unquote months span, and throughout a yearly span, we got our little things that we, lesson loops that we're again either reacting to and causing us to stay in the loop, or we're responding to and creating new loops. And I feel like right now, like again, it's not no necessarily quote unquote end of the world. It's like reaching a point in the big loop, like in the big loop, again, like a 300,000 year loop, for example, or even use the examples of like the 24,000 or 25,000 years that makes up like a age, like we're going through the Kali Yuga age, or this age, that age, you know what I'm saying? But it's a cycle right now where, again, like we got to respond differently. Whatever's been happening at this point that we quote unquote call like, oh, it's the quote unquote end or the apocalypse, whatever happened, in that loop, the last 300,000, years, again, for example, or again, to keep it in the lines of the accuracy of the ages, we'll say 25,000 years. But again, like it's coming back around. It's like, all right, will you react the same way you did last time, or will you respond differently? You know, and think about, when I think about reactions, in most cases, reactions that probably come from, like a traumatic perspective, or more so like an egoic perspective, you know, and, with a lot of, and Krishnamurti brought this up too, like, you can't expect change by continuously holding on to the same ideas of the past, because that'll create the same loop. Because I feel like that's what'll keep the loop going. If we like, oh, just the same as everything our ancestors said, don't, just exactly the same, because again, it's from the skillet to the frying pan. Although you're not talking about Christmas and regular holidays, you may still treat, other things as if it was Santa Claus, but just under a different name and a different guise, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's like that cycle coming back again, and we could either all react in a, unhealthy egoic manner like we, possibly did once before, or we could respond, differently and create a new cycle, you know what I'm saying, where it would be a different experience, you know what I'm saying, from the same, loop that we've been in, Again, rhythms. But again, it's like that one little cycle. And again, that's how your trips start. Like, say for instance, I take my mushrooms. Right before I took my mushrooms, though, I was in a vibe of loving a quartz crystal. And, and then as I go, it'll cycle me through, like, again, like the cycle start off in small loops, and then it go, you know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of goes out, and then it comes back in. And literally, that's what a trip be, is like you go into your smaller loops or cycles, or how it first started, then you go out into your bigger loops, and then bam, and then come back in, you know what I'm saying, until the experience, is done. And it's also, anybody who dealt with psychedelics noticed that, it's almost like time don't exist. You really get proof of it firsthand, because again, we could talk about these concepts and stuff like that, but when you actually had a psychedelic experience, it's no longer just book information, but you're actually within the dynamics of breaking down the layers of our, day-to-day, and I say day-to-day, but, our moment-to-moment loops, or our loops in general, Again, just some of my little theories. Not so much a theory, but, just say it like that. I say the only theory part is, like, again, like, where I'm picking up that we get into this, like, this looping stage again. It's like, because that's why the build-up feel like anybody trip, when you get back to one of those little loops again, or if somebody about to, like, because there's an energy where, during a trip, a person also goes through the energy of, like, trying to make it out of a cycle, where I think about somewhere, like, say, for instance, I was in let's call it a laughing cycle, where I was laughing, and the energy came up for me to stop laughing, but I reacted the same way, so it's like I had stayed in that laughing loop, and, and then it comes again where I get another chance to pull myself out of that laughing loop, if I'm not aware of how, to that situation is coming up, bam, I'm right back in it, And then again, like what happens with constantly being in these loops again, like literally, like as above, so below, as within, so without. It's like literally being on a merry-go-round. What happened when you're on a merry-go-round? Like constantly spinning, you'll get dizzy, and it's possible on a intergalactic level, or just on a on a level way deeper than a merry-go-round. I'm pretty sure more than dizziness, it'll probably be amnesia. You know what I'm saying? Amnesia, the constantly going through those loops. And again, where it happens sometimes so quick, so strongly, where sometimes it's tough for us to get a grip on them. And that's again like what goes on in our life in essence. We say, for instance, like letting go of gambling. You get that chance to let it go, but you keep doing it. Bam. So you're in that loop again. And it's gonna loop around. And then bam. And then and again, when you get to these points too, you're gonna see signs and symbols that show up the same way they did last time, like say for instance, every time before you get to this little loop right here, this part of the loop, a certain person call you. And again, like all those things happen the same for us to get the aha moment, like, wait, this shit is all exactly, the same as last time. Let me switch it up, you know what I'm saying? But again, like, so you don't catch that phone call was letting you know that you was about to go, that you had a chance to pull yourself out of the loop. So you end up back in the loop again, bam. And then, all right, and then you come back around, and then, all right, so-and-so hit you up, and all those signs show themselves again and say, hey, about to be in that loop again. And this time you catch it. It's like, all right, bam, and then boom, and that turns into a new experience of doing something different, Instead of constantly doing that same little loop over and over, bam, you caught it, switched it up, and bam, you created a new loop. But again, it's constant loops, constant cycles. And again, it's like moving in essence from, one circle to the next. Like one circle to the next. But just wanted to share that with y'all. But again, with that being said, again, like applying that to your personal experience of understanding your loops. Like, what are the unhealthy loops that keep repeating themselves that you need to respond differently to, and also seeing the healthy loops as well, because it's some cycles that we want to, maintain. Brushing my teeth in the morning. Let's just say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want that to stay in the loop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a healthy thing to have in the loop. So, that routine, you know what I'm saying, is not necessarily like an unhealthy lesson loop. Like, nah, that's a part of a healthy routine. You know what I'm saying? Even knowing that difference, there's things that are part of our healthy routine, and then there are things that, are that we repeat that may not be best for us to repeat, and there's different strokes for different things, you know what I'm saying? Like some things, where it should have a routine but not be that rigid, you know what I'm saying? But, again, that's unique to each person's, perception and experience. But, yeah, the cycles, the circles. But that's basically it, guys. Peace. Oh, my nails ain't dirty. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past, right? Nah.